Good morning, everybody. Lovely Wednesday morning here in Germany, which I like. Although, mind you, the clouds are starting to come over, and lately it's been getting dark at like 4:30, which I find ridiculous. I'm sure some of you who live in the north of Canada might have the same thing. But I find it so strange being from Australia when I look outside and it's a bit cloudy and it's like 4 o'clock and it feels like the sun's going down. Makes me feel like my days are so short. We're just meeting some people. But yes, please jump into the chats and share with us some gratitude today. I'm loving the note. Yeah, I love that song. Chet Faker. I love Chet Faker. No Diggity is a great song. So yeah, please share with us some of the gratitude that you've got for today. And what I'd like is if you share some of your takeaways that you've had for this week and maybe some key aspects that you took away from yesterday. This week, we've been talking about perspective and how important it is and finding different points of view in different situations. And yes, yesterday we were talking about how we can utilize that for being on the charts. So we've got some gratitude coming in. I do want you to actually participate in this process because it is the practice of thinking about what you can be grateful for as well, which starts to spur the ideas and bring out good emotions and realize, hang on, I actually am really lucky to have X, Y, Z. Or, man, I forgot how much this person does for me or means to me, so I'm really grateful for that. So we often do get a lot of participation, which is great, but I'm going to keep asking you, if you're here, to keep joining in, because the whole point of this is to practice it routinely and create a habit, because finding gratitude in both the morning and the night can completely change your life. If we can find gratitude even when we're in the shittiest of moods, we'll find that it actually shifts ourselves from a negative vibration to a positive vibration and can transform our whole day. And if we go to bed with a really positive vibration, being grateful for all the little things we've had and the things we've had and done during that day, including grateful for ourselves and the successes we've had in that day, which I think is also really important. We do need to establish the fact that we, especially as entrepreneurs or as traders, we're doing things that most people aren't. We are putting ourselves out and trying to challenge the norms of society and making our own life. And so this can get very difficult sometimes, and you can often find yourself being hard on yourself when you're not successful in the time frame you thought you were, or a little bit down on yourself if you think, oh, I should be doing better than I am right now, or you're comparing to other people. Never compare. What is it? Compare is the thief of joy. Comparison is the thief of joy, I think the saying is. And it's really important that when we go to bed or when we find our gratitude, that we find some gratitude for ourselves as well. And be proud of the little successes, because it's those little successes that we have daily, consistently, that actually lead to those bigger successes. And I think this is a key aspect to keeping going during some of these challenges that we put ourselves into, and some of these expectations that we have for ourselves, is not to keep what I call pushing the goalpost. So you reach one level of success and you go, oh yeah, but I need to get this now, and I need to get this now, and I need to get this. And you never stop to give yourself a pat on the back, to appreciate how far you've come. We're sort of looking at what we haven't done rather than being grateful and appreciative of what we have done. And so for myself today, I'm grateful for starting this mindset call, for having a group of people come consistently every single day to share the experience with me. I'm extremely grateful for having stepped forward in our trading group and being put into the position of being able to teach and share and have people actually listen and care what I have to say, which is really great. I'm extremely grateful for my choice to travel and not stick with the norms of society and just get stuck in the engineering world. I'm extremely grateful for being outgoing and daring and terrified many, many times over and over again to push the boundaries and end up in a place where I never thought that I would end up. And I'm extremely grateful for my lovely partner and our new little baby, and grateful for the life that I'm creating for myself. So whether you believe this to be cocky or arrogant, well, there's up to you. Your opinion really doesn't make much difference to me. Because for me, I think it's extremely important to have that self gratification and really appreciate yourself and the successes that you've had. So today, my gratitude is a little bit self-indulgent, and I'm more than happy with that because I'm proud of the things that I've done. And we've spoken on this podcast in the past about a success list, or, a list of achievements that you can print up and put there for any of the hard days that you have, and just to go read and be like, actually, let's take a step back and be proud. Look at all the things that I've done in my life. Wow. You know, I have achieved stuff. I have achieved a lot. I am capable of much, much more than what I thought I could, and I can continue to push those boundaries. So that's what I'm grateful for today. And I'm going to see if we've got some gratitude in the chat here. I'm grateful for the ability to keep learning. I'm grateful for beautiful, cold, fresh air to breathe. Yeah, I just closed my window, but it's like, I think 5 degrees outside. And I just had this fresh, cool, revitalizing air blowing straight onto me. Unfortunately, there's a road there, so I can't really keep it open during the call, but I love that fresh, especially cold air. I don't know, it's revitalizing. I'm grateful for a new day, for a gorgeous winter walk. I'm so grateful that I can enjoy fresh, crisp air that fills my lungs and makes me feel alive. I'm grateful for the small improvements and how far I've come. It's a great word, Jake. Thanks. Good morning. I am grateful for life. Our social circle has experienced lots of loss lately, and I'm mindful for that. I'm mindful that tomorrow is not always promised. I really appreciate your teachings on perspective as the weeks go on. I find myself being more aware and intentional about my perspectives on everyday things. Yeah, that's a really good point to bring up. Tomorrow is never promised. You know, if you've ever lost someone through tragedy, it can really shake things up and really shock the way you perceive things, and make you rethink and review your environment and what you have and what you're grateful for. Like when I was younger, we were at a party one time and I went to get in the car with my friends, and they, for one reason or another, gave me shit and drove off. And I got a phone call later that car had crashed. And the words that I heard was that one of my best friends had gone straight through the front windscreen. And this was a traumatic experience to me. I had no idea. I thought I probably lost him. But this just stunned me very quickly. And when you're in your bubble of happiness and joy and everything's going amazing, you don't think about how quick tragedy can strike. And when it does, you realize, holy shit, like I need to spend time with these people. I need to just really appreciate the things I've got. I need to live my life to the fullest. And it can be taken away so quickly. And I think, unfortunately, tragedy is what brings these shocking perspective shifts or these paradigm shifts. But if we can learn to find them and dig deep and have them without the tragedy or without the shock. Now, my friend is fine. He just hurt his lower half and had months of rehabilitation. And now we were playing footy again when I was back in Australia. So everyone's all good. Where I was sitting would have been crushed, but it really shows how close you can come to major changes in your life. And that brings us a lot of, I suppose, perspective, and pushes us to find that extra bit of gratitude or those extra bits of appreciation for the little things. So my condolences to you, Tamika, there. No one likes, especially in a social circle, tragedy or loss. But I hope that everyone's holding their head up and coming together and finding some new light from a painful situation, shall we say. Good morning, good afternoon. I am grateful for the steps I am taking each and every day to move forward in my trading journey. I'm grateful for the yummy supper last night, one of those meals that stands out as a really good meal. I'm grateful for my supportive family. Yeah, me and my partner had a date night last night and made a really, really nice meal as well. We went out and bought some extra special ingredients and sat down and had a really nice meal. So it's really joyful to be able to sit there and do that sort of special food every now and again. Grateful for positive growth, flexibility in body and mind, my supportive, compassionate partner in life. Yeah, it's really helpful. Good on you, Jake. Thank you. I'm grateful to wake up to snow on the ground this morning, for my health, and so many don't have it. I am grateful for my comfort and warm home. Yeah, that's great. I'm grateful for the personal growth I'm experiencing as demonstrated in my trading. Awesome. I love it when you get results that demonstrate your growth. There's nothing better, especially for my ears, than when someone has gone on a personal growth journey and that is coming in with results in trading. Like that's the whole reason I started this call, is so that we could go on a personal growth journey together, which in turn will help you get better results on the charts. And I'm finding better results for myself since starting this. And I'm so stoked to hear that other people are doing the same thing. Thank you, Jake. I love your heart. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. I love everyone in this group who's always sharing, always contributing, and, opening up and sharing their vulnerabilities, because that's such a key aspect to growth is the ability to love yourself to a level that you can open up and be in a trusting environment to a level where you can open up, because that is when you start to peel back those layers, and that is when you start to find that real growth behind all the other front, which sometimes people are a bit more afraid of sharing and opening up with. And so the vulnerability in this group, I think, is incredible, and I think it really helps people develop and grow. So thank you to everyone who shares and consistently gets involved. I mean, I think everyone here this morning shared their gratitude, which is absolutely amazing. All right. So.
Morning, Jake.
Good morning.
Hi. I thought I would try something different this morning as part of my growth, and that is actually speak my words instead of typing them.
I love it. Please share.
What I found I was grateful for this morning, I always start off with a lot of things and then find I have to chunk it down to what really I'm grateful for this morning.
That's good.
And what I realized is every day I'm grateful for these calls, mindset trading, that kind of thing, and the growth that comes out of it. And then I realized, well, part of that growth comes from previous experience, and that chunked down to actually the strengths that my parents instilled in me.
Nice.
So I've been able to work with the strengths they've given me and let go of some of the things they didn't do as parents.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's what I'm grateful for this morning.
I really love that. I really, that's hit a really key point that I'd like to discuss, because often I talk about pulling back those layers and trying to find those subconscious values and beliefs that we want to try and shift and change to be a different person. But what is also really important, which is what you've just touched on, Lorraine, is finding those values and beliefs that you are so proud and happy for, that you stand true for, and that your parents maybe instilled in you, that you are really grateful for, and clinging on to them and making them part of who you are, and sort of presenting that as like, yes, this is a value or belief I've had since I was younger, since my, something that my family did for me, or my parents taught, or however you got this value or belief, and that you're super proud of. And that's like makes up part of who you are, and clutching onto that and being like, this is me because of this reason. And I think that's so clutch. What you have done just there is to kind of take the idea of pulling back those layers, but find the positives in it, which is really, really cool. So thank you for sharing that, Lorraine.
Thank you.
All right. Does anyone else want to share out loud their gratitude? Thank you so much, Lorraine, again, stepping forward, getting out of your comfort zone. Growth, this is what this whole community is about. So thank you again for unmuting yourself and sharing. I love it. All right, but there's no one else. We will move on. Yesterday, I was talking about our perspective in trading on the charts, and I was talking about it in terms of looking like, for example, most of us trade the same strategy as I do, and we look for price action candles for a reason to enter our trade. However, we can't just look at price action candles and go, there's one, enter. We need to zoom out, gather more knowledge, gather more information, and this gives us a better overall picture of exactly, oh, my watch is going off. This gives us a better overall picture of the situation. So while we might have a true statement that a bearish engulfing candle is painting, this is a reason to enter, and we might have a true statement that it has broken over the resistance level, this is a good sign it's going to move forward. That's not the whole truth of the statement. When we look at the TDR, we might be oversold and crashing into a higher time frame EMA. The 5-minute and 15-minute might be in a downtrend, which is going against our confluence. And so it's really about trying to picture the whole story as best we can. Now, obviously, you're not going to gather all the information, because if you grabbed every bit of information, you'd probably end up realizing that there's no good time to buy, no good time to sell, because there's risk in either direction. And the whole point of trading is to find the risk that's least probable to be negative. I did that poorly. Find the trades where the risk is minimum to the probability of your outcome being positive, and then jumping in there. So we're always going to have to take risk. If you find all the information, it can be very much contradictory to finding a good trade. But I digress. Finding enough information for us to be fully aware of why we're entering, the amount of risk that we're willing to take, and the hopeful outcome for our trade. Now, I want to take this a little step further, because while it's good when we're talking about being in a trade aspect of things, like taking one trade, why don't we discuss this on a more macro sense of a session or a day, depending on how you trade. Like sometimes I trade London Open and then I trade New York Open, 2 sessions. Sometimes I miss London Open, depending on how I'm feeling in the morning, or depending on what the chart's looking like. So sometimes I will talk in sessions, sometimes I, talk in days if you just jump on for one time a day. But my point here is, when we are trading, it's meant to be all about probability. But what makes us fail as traders is our inability to be robotic and our ability to bring in emotion. That's what makes us human, right? And so when we take a loss in a trade, are we then being influenced by negative emotions and letting that affect what we're going to do next on the charts? Or are we able to turn it off and go back to the probability of what's happening directly on the chart environment? And this is I think this is the key aspect to being a successful trader and unfortunately a non-successful trader, is if we can understand the bigger picture of what we're trying to do in trading and not look at it in terms of, oh, I just lost a trade, now I'm not going to hit my 5% daily goal or whatever it is. And then we get the emotions and the frustration and all the things that make us human jump on. Sometimes we get a really good trade and it goes, and then we're like, yes, I can beat the system all today. And we keep trading and then give it back. Now, this is very human of us, shall I say, in the sense of emotions are what make us who we are. And I've said this many times, it's not about removing our emotions, but being able to control and understand them. And so if you do find you're an emotional person, allow those emotions to come in, but don't trade during that time. Give yourself the time to feel those emotions, push them away, or whatever you do with your emotions, or let them flow through you, and then come back when you're completely calm and neutral minded. Because too often we may have, and please chuck in some ones if you've had a Monday where you've come up positive, had a Tuesday where you've kind of broke even, and had a Wednesday where you've lost, and then you've gone into Thursday and it's been bigger loss, and Friday's been even bigger loss. Because just chuck some ones in the chat if that's been you, because I know it's been me at some stages. Sadly, yes. Yeah, don't have to be sad. It's just a part of, I think that's just a part of the journey of trading. You have to go through these phases to learn the lessons, but the key is to acknowledge them and realize that that's a behavior that's happened or that is happening, and how you can solve that to move on to the next level and change the next thing. So the reason I bring this up is because what most of us are doing, and now this isn't 100%, because some days are better than others, and some days you just have a good start of the week and then the chart turns messy and you make some mistakes. But the majority, I'm assuming here, is going to be similar to my story, where I had a good day, my confidence was up, and then I made a bad decision on the Tuesday, and then I let that drag with me on the Wednesday, and then I was revenge trading for Thursday and Friday. Right? I was unable to shift my emotion from the previous days to the current day. I was holding on to this emotion. And this comes from, and this is what I'm sort of understanding at the moment in my growth, is that we get so wound up on our daily goal, because that's what a lot of us get taught, right? We go from, I'm going to trade. It's like, hang on, we're not just trading for the sake of trading. Let's set some limits. Let's set some goals, daily loss limit, daily gain, daily profit target, which is great. I think we should definitely be doing that. But not getting so wound up when we don't reach that goal, or we take a loss, or, when you have a 2% loss during that day, you really need to go to the chart the next day and not even be thinking about that 2% loss that happened yesterday, because then you're not trading statistically on the chart environment of what's in front of you. You're basing your emotion off, oh, I had a bad day yesterday, or I had a loss yesterday, so therefore I've got to make up for yesterday. Put some ones in the chat if you've ever said, oh, I got to make up for yesterday's loss. My goal is to acknowledge that judgment. Move on the moment. Yeah. Yeah, here you go. Some ones, right? And I'm sorry, but if you don't think you've done that, you're most probably lying because most people, especially when they start, go, oh, yesterday I blah, 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 blah. So now I've got to make up for it, or I've got to have a really good day, or, I've got to catch up. But this isn't the overall goal. And this is what I mean. Like, we've got to shift our perspective from my day yesterday or what I did today to my trading plan will state these things. And if I follow that over X amount of years, yes, I'm saying years, because most people who jump on here and think they can be millionaires in months are usually kidding themselves. It's a hard, long journey, and you have to get through that wave of going, I can be rich by, Christmas, and then go, oh, actually, this is a really, really good way to make money if I put in the time, the effort, and the self-development to become the person that is able to manage my emotions enough to actually be successful. Again, I digress, but we need to understand that it doesn't really matter what happens from day to day. Yes, self-evaluate. Yes, if you're losing every day for 3 weeks in a row, we got to shift something. We got to either shift our emotions or shift our trading strategy or shift, the way we actually trade or times. But losing is a part of trading. And we have to shift our perspective to the fact that this is a long-term game to create financial freedom. It's not an overnight millionaire success thing. So our perspective on our trading journey needs to shift from, oh, this week I've lost 4% again. God, I suck at this. I'm never going to get it. Or, oh, I can't believe I lost yesterday 2%. Now I got to make that back up. Oh, why'd I lose again? And like, this is why you can often see new traders, their curve goes, yay, maybe successful Monday, successful Tuesday, back end of the week, shit, because they make a mistake or they take a loss and then their emotions take over and they carry it on to the next day and to the next day and to the next day. Chuck some ones in the chat if you've ever been in a situation where you've had like 2-3 good weeks of trading and then you've lost it all in one day, or maybe two. One. See, I'm not alone here because it's so common, because those things happen because of emotions. Those things happen because we might be doing well more than once. Yeah, me too, more than once. In fact, I've had months where I've done really well and then blown an account in 1 day or 2 days because my emotions took over and I didn't know how to hedge and I just fired away and got panicky and then boom, gone. Like, shit happens, especially if you're emotional, and I'm a super emotional person. And so I need to be able to manage my emotions more than others. I know that about myself, but that's just more of a journey that I have to develop. More of my journey, sorry. And so my point here is our perspective about trading should shift from what I'm doing right now. While it's important what I'm doing right now on the charts, it doesn't matter if I had a 1% loss today. Doesn't matter if I went up and then took a loss and still ended up in blue, because I still ended up in blue. It doesn't matter if I took a full loss today. Tomorrow is a brand new day. It's a brand new account, just with a different balance. It does not matter. The only time it really should concern you, and you ask all professional traders, they will have sometimes weeks where they just lose. But it's not about having 1 week where you lose means, oh, you're shit, let's change strategy, let's move on. It's about the process and the development and the long-term gains. Like, we've all done a compound interest calculation. We've all sat there on the computer for a little bit and gone, oh, what if I make 1%? Oh, what if I make 5%? Oh, what if I make 10%? I'll be a millionaire in a week. It's incredible what it does. It's so powerful. But we don't give our trading strategies and our plans enough time to compound, usually because we get frustrated at the 1 or 2 days we lose. Or we let our emotions take over and we have really big losing days. So it's like 1%, 1%, 2%, 1%, 1%, 17% loss. Not sustainable. This is why trading plans are so important, but not a trading plan that you just be like, oh, my trading plan didn't work today, so it must be shit. A trading plan is what's going to keep you on the charts for a long period of time. It takes the average of what happens on the charts and creates your strategy to be able to coast in a hopefully upwards progression over time. Actually, let's not say linearly, let's say exponential when you take into effect compound interest. And that's how you get to that level of success. I think, and you know what, hopefully I'll have another call exactly like this in 6 months' time and I can say, I know as a professional trader, that, blah, 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 blah. But I think the reason most professional traders are at the stage they're at is because they have the ability to disengage from the small losses, to disengage from the fact that, oh, okay, today's didn't work so well for me. This session didn't go as I planned. Who cares? These kind of attitudes and comments, the fact that they understand that their trading plan is going to work out over time and has the longevity to create wealth, is how they can go, okay, I lost. I had a shit week. I lost 3 days in a row, 4 days. I lost every single day this week, but my trading plan managed my risk to a point where I can get that back in the next 2-3 weeks. This is making sense to people. Please chuck some ones in the chat if you can relate or understand the concept of shifting your perspective on the charts to a more macro level. Oh yes, 111. A few people, 6 or 7. We got 14 people on this call. I would love to see a few more ones to make sure that I'm making sense to people. Otherwise, maybe I'll have to re-explain or come up with new material. But I got a few people here. 1. Okay, 6 or 7. There we go. A few more. All right. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of touch base. There we go. Another one. Perfect. That's what I like to see. So I just wanted to touch base on the idea of how important perspective is in life this week. So on Monday, we discussed how important it was in general to get all sides of the truth. And if you hopefully some of those, actually, if you were here on Monday's call, can you chuck in either the story or the image that made it maybe stuck in your head about this point that I'm trying to make? Because I'm quite interested in the lion here. I love that one too. The lion stuck with you. Okay, cool. Story of the man on the bus. Yeah. And either the other people from Monday aren't here or they don't remember it. The lion as well. Okay, cool. Yeah. So there is a few visuals, and I really recommend if you weren't here on Monday, go back and listen to that episode. Man on the bus. I will maybe try and see if I can put the video somewhere for those of you that are listening on the podcast, because there are some visuals. I really personally like the square and the circle and the cylinder. That sticks with me every single time. But it's really important to understand that there are many true facts about a story, often adding up to different truths, or the whole truth, shall I say. And this is super key to looking at the chart on a micro level, where you are, when you're looking at different timeframes for confluence, different EMAs, or whether you use Fibonacci or pitchforks or harmonics or whatever it is, other indicators to help give you more information so you can get a better picture of the overall story happening. And then zooming out and understanding that trading as a whole, you need to get the whole picture and understand that it's not just about what you do today, but what you do every day consistently over a period of time that's going to build that growth. And not only growth in finances, but growth in personal development and growth in trading skills. So give yourself a break, have some self-gratitude, find the things that you've done well and give yourself a pat on the back. Don't be so harsh on yourself, especially in your trading journey. Just because you're not a millionaire in a couple of months and you're not that unicorn doesn't mean you're not making progress. It's about those baby steps, consistent baby steps. And if you let your strategy and you let your growth just consistently build over time and don't give up, I can almost guarantee that you will get to some level of success that you didn't think was possible. All right, everybody, that is pretty much it for my traders. I will see you on the trading call. For people listening on the podcast or that aren't trading with us, I shall see you tomorrow. We have lovely Deanna sharing with us tomorrow. And then on Friday, we have another couple of people who have just got into public speaking and want to have a platform and a place to share. So they'll be coming on and talking to us about actually, I believe, some stuff that really bodes well with a lot of the stuff that I discuss here in terms of finding those core beliefs and values. So thank you, everybody. I look forward to speaking with you tomorrow. But for
Thanks,
now,
Jake.
you're very welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. To everyone, love you all, and I shall speak again tomorrow. Bye.